Hello everybody, today Gearbox dropped the third dev diary for the Alloyed Collective expansion that is coming to Risk of Rain 2 later this year. This dev diary details the new survivor coming to the game, Operator. I took a little peek at this before I started recording, and all I can say is, man, I am excited for this character. Like, this is cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna watch the Operator reveal here, let them go a little bit more in depth. We'll pause the video and kind of discuss as we're seeing things. There's a lot of things to kind of review over and hammer down, and then after that we'll quickly review over all the stuff they kind of laid out more in depth here, talk a bit more about it. Let's get into it. So I do want to say real quick before we get too far into this, this Operator aesthetically looks so cool. Very different from anything we've ever seen. Almost kind of like bug-like a little bit. It's like all teched out, all kind of buggy with the eyes and stuff. I really like the design of this survivor. All right, so they weren't kidding when they kind of teased this character when they did the second dev diary, when they went more in depth about the drones and what they're adding to the game as far as new drones. They said that that this survivor would synergize with drones a lot. I think this is really cool because one of my favorite parts about playing Risk of Rain 2 is just finding those synergies. Not a lot of survivors work in or like have like a very hard-coded synergy. I mean, like the best I can really think of is like False Sun synergizes very well with health pool items. So, you know, like your Bison stakes your infusions, your pearls, because that grants some more stacks of his abilities. So this is really cool to see another survivor coming to this game that has a lot of that like hardline synergy. When you play this survivor, you want drones because the more drones you have, the more abilities you have, and the more powerful you are. So, I mean, that's obviously like a rule across the game. The more things you have, the stronger you're gonna be. That's obvious, you know. There's really no other character that has a direct synergy with drones. The closest I would say would be Captain, because all of his companions get the little spinny trophy system item that blocks the projectiles. So you could basically buy a bunch of companions and block all the incoming projectiles, making you and your companions invincible to most damage. This is something that we haven't really seen too much of in this game. We're gonna let them talk a bit more in depth about what this character's kit is, and we'll continue reacting.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed that trailer for the first survivor to be revealed for the upcoming Risk of Rain 2 DLC Alloyed Collective. Introducing Operator. With the new...
Like, again, I'll say, man, he looks so cool. I like the aesthetic of that. Also, they have another survivor coming, and they're not revealing it right now, obviously. But I find it funny they just put like a little pug in where that survivor's gonna be. That's funny. That's a nice little touch.
Drones being introduced with the DLC, we wanted to design a survivor that made the most of these new and improved battle companions. But don't worry, Operator doesn't just sit back and let the drones take all of the glory. Instead, he uses their abilities to enhance his own combat skills, making this union of man and machine an agile powerhouse on the battlefield. As always, you know the rules. Before we get started, head on over to the Alloyed Collective Steam page and wishlist that sucker.
Make sure you wishlist it, guys. Don't forget. Wishlist this DLC. I have a good feeling about this DLC. Mark my words. This is going to be the best DLC they've ever released. I mean, Survivors of the Void, it's going to be hard to beat, but I have a good feeling about this. Just the way they're going about doing it, I'm very excited for it.
Seriously, I'll wait. Done? Okay, let's keep going. Although Operator arrives on the planet with 2 drones of his choice, he's certainly more than capable of defending himself without them. For starters, he has his primary H311 OCR custom pistol. Like the majority of the primary attacks in the game, you can just hold down the attack and let it do its thing. It does a respectable amount of damage and is more than capable of popping wisps and dropping Lemurians. It even has an added bonus of each kill shot ricocheting to the enemy with the lowest health nearby, dealing 75% of the bullet's damage.
Gotta love a character with built-in AoE. Even though it's not like a massive AoE thing, like it's just gonna chain to one enemy, it looks like. I do like that this kit has it right off rip, because I always preach whenever I play a game, the most powerful item you can have on stage 1 is a gasoline. It makes mobbing so much easier, and it's an easy item to get. It makes mobbing trivial. It helps with the boss fights because you have all the enemies spawning in. It's just all that extra damage you get from just a single gasoline stack is such a huge help. So any survivor that builds in like an AoE attack into a kit that's a very good start.
However, the truly big brain survivors among you will let this primary stack up a bit. For each stack increases the damage of the shot, and if you let it get to the full 3 stacks, it transforms the H311 OCR custom into a deadly skill shot that would even make Railgunner jealous. A fully charged shot is highly accurate, does massive damage, and has no damage fall off. That'll allow the patient and skillful among you to turn Operator into a frontline sniper. And you didn't already forget about the ricochet, did you?
Oh, so I wonder if, with that said, so that charge shot, I wonder if that means the ricochet doesn't have fall off when it's a fully charged shot. That would be insane if that was the case. That would almost be maybe a little too powerful. I'll take it. I'm happy that they're building range into it, because that's another thing. Like when Chef first came out, great example. Chef didn't have a lot of range, and to me that was like one of the more frustrating survivors to play. I mean, there was a myriad of reasons why Chef wasn't a great survivor at launch of Seekers. It was more frustrating that like I felt the restricted range of Chef. So I like that they're giving this survivor, they're giving Operator a way to combat long range engagements, because it does help, especially early on when like you can see enemies spawn like way over there. You just need to get a little bit of extra cash. Being able to take stuff out from a long ways away, or even to like start a proc chain a ways away before you're like in the crap, that's very good. That's a good, nice little touch to this survivor.
Operator's utility ability allows you to very rapidly navigate stages to press the advantage, escape danger, or just style on your enemies. Introducing Ascent Pro.
Oh my god, yes, thank you.
You up into the air and clip on for a smooth descent back down to the ground. All the while,
All about that.
your other abilities letting you rain destruction from on high. Operator may look diminutive, but even the most hench of drones can't keep him in the skies forever. Luckily, after a brief cooldown, you can aim at one of your spare drones to reactivate the skill, leaping towards it and maintaining your flight.
Oh, that's so cool.
Operator never loses in a game of the floor is lava. Operator doesn't have to rely on his bullet ricochet to deal AoE damage to monsters. With his special ability,
All right, so yeah, real quick on that. That's awesome, because I mean that's really good fall damage mitigation. So for the Eclipse players, that's really good. Being able to chain too is really cool. Traversal, that's a really cool traversal tool. Like overall, that's very solid. I'm very happy about that. All right, continuing on.
the ejection core, he can overcharge a drone and yeet it at a group of enemies to melt health bars and shred their
Yeet it.
Not only does the drone impact hit like a truck, it also launches enemies into the air and applies the bug debuff to them and stuns them whilst they are airborne.
All right, some solid CC on top of the bullet ricochet.
It is slowed, allowing you to continue pelting them with bullets even longer, ramping up the hurt to ridiculous levels.
It's like Breaching Fin. It's like Breaching Fin built into ability. That's really nice. That's a nice little touch. Me personally, not a fan of Breaching Fin as an item. If you've watched any of my gameplay videos, you know I tend to get rid of it in most cases, unless if I'm playing engineer. Well, hey, if it's built in like that, the more CC built into a kit, the better.
You get a couple of kills while using ejection core, but with the help of your drones, you can absolutely lay waste to not only bugged enemies, but the entire ecosystem of Petrichor 5. You've probably noticed throughout this superbly written dev diary, there's a little aiming reticle that keeps popping up on enemies. Well, that's not your target, it's your drone's target. When using admin override, you command your currently active drone to attack its target with an ability that is different and unique to every drone in the game, new and old. This works in conjunction with his passive drone tech, which cycles through your available drones, including those purchased along your run, one by one after using any of Operator's drone abilities. For example, the healing drone, once activated, both heals you and gives you a temporary speed boost. Some drones have entirely unique attacks, like the bombardment drone. This shocking addition dashes to your target and fires stunning chain lightning. That makes any affected enemies an easy target.
Go crazy.
AoE bombardment attack. But my favourite of the bunch is the good old TC-280 prototype, which, on command, does a deadly strafing run that obliterates any targets in its path. Each new drone that you collect gives you an extra charge of this ability, so if you've got a tough teleporter event coming up, you can save up those charges and on your command, unleash hell with your army of drones. Operator also...
That's gonna be crazy, especially if you stack drones. That's gonna be crazy how much damage they'll be able to deal. That's really cool. And like they said, they want this to synergize. Like, it's not even just the two that you select in your loadout, because it appears you can choose 2 drones to spawn in with. To use that ability off rip. If you're just going hard on drones, like, all these things are gonna work together very well. That's extremely exciting.
Comes with a full suite of alternate abilities and starting drones to choose from, but I'll let you discover those yourself when Alloy Collective comes out later this year. On the subject of the release date, I have a small bit of bad news. We don't have a release date for you today. I know many of you will have rocked up to this dev diary excited to see the release date for the DLC, but there are still a handful of things we want to sort out before we give you a date. I announced in Dev Diary 2 that it was our goal to make Alloyed Collective the best addition to Risk of Rain ever, and in my humble opinion, we are damn close to achieving that goal. We just need a little bit more time to get there. When we give you the date, we want it to be a cast iron guarantee, and we can't do that today. The good news is we're still very much on track for a release later this year as promised. In the end, we want the team to have the time they need to make the DLC without having to crunch. Again, our sincere apologies to everyone looking forward to that particular reveal today. We'll share a date with you as soon as we've locked it in, and trust me when I say it'll be worth the wait.
Alright, so on that news, that's actually really refreshing to hear that this isn't being rushed out like Seekers clearly was. That's good. I mean, it sucks we have to wait, but hey, there are plenty of awesome games coming out this year, and the game is in a good spot right now, so it's like, we don't need new content necessarily. It's awesome that we're getting it. Now, I'm happy that they are upfront about this and say, hey, we want to polish it. We want to make sure everything's good to go. That's very reassuring. They're not going to repeat the mistake that they did last year when they released Seekers. Better that we know that, hey, we're going to do this right. So that's very refreshing to hear.
Operator is the first of 2 new survivors coming in Alloyed Collective. In the next Dev Diary, I'll be showing off the second who is returning from a previous Risk of Rain game. Let us know in the comments section who you hope it'll be, and head on over to the Alloyed Collective Steam page and give it a wishlist, although I'm sure you did it earlier when I asked you to do it anyway. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.
That's a cool looking stage. Actually, hold on, let me hop back here. I wonder if this is the new stage 1. Because it looked kind of small. I mean, I don't know what's behind it necessarily. Like here, if we rewind it, like it looks a bit on the smaller side. Like it's very open. So I wonder if this is the new stage 1 that we're getting. I like the aesthetic. That's a very clean aesthetic. Ooh, wait. Okay, so they add that feature. Because they did this in Risk of Rain Returns. I'm not sure if it was in OG Risk of Rain. I didn't ever play Risk of Rain 1. I only played Returns. But like when you hit more than one shrine of the mountain, it would stack on top of the teleporter. It doesn't do that in 2, but it looks like now they are adding that feature to 2. So that's a nice little gut check. You know what you're going into when you hit teleporter. Especially nice for co-op when a lot of people will just hit shrines of the mountain and not tell you. And if you're not paying attention to that feed, you'll be surprised when you hit the teleporter. So that's a nice little touch. Oh, I am so excited to be zooming around flying around and just mashing people with drones. That's gonna be such a fun time. Oh, new boss type. Hold on. New boss type right there. Put her back. That's new. That's all. Let's push her back just a little bit more. Yeah, look at that. That's a new guy. And it looks like in the next shot, they have multiple lasers coming out of all the little side nodes there. Or is that something entirely different? I can't really see what's happening there. All right, so I assume that is... so I assume that last part is a tease for the next survivor that's going to be returning. I don't know too much about the Risk of Rain 1 survivors. I was seeing a lot of Enforcer comments on the YouTube video, or on the Twitch stream rather, when I watched this initially. So yeah, all right. Well, that was a pretty solid breakdown. I'm gonna kind of skim through this. Don't really need to spend too much time on this because I think that was a pretty solid breakdown, and there wasn't too much information to gather besides just like how this works. But I mean, my initial thoughts, I mean, I'm excited, once again, excited. Anything that synergizes, or any operator that synergizes, operator, his name is Operator, any survivor that synergizes very well with any sort of other aspect of the game, whether it be drones, very specific items, like Void Fiend with Void items and stuff like that. That always excites me because there's like a very cool defined way you can play the game to make it just a very powerful run. Like, it is a very clear path forward. I mean, there's always that random element, right? It doesn't matter too much. Like, as long as you're powerful enough, you can win the game. There's always that. But I mean, the things that just grab my attention with this is, one, how mobile this operator is. I mean, this Ascent protocol is very nice to see. Very good way to mitigate fall damage, like I said when we were going through the video. Later in the trailer, they were showing him kind of flying or like side strafing at a really good speed, which is very exciting because being able to navigate around, especially during like boss fights, and hop from drone to drone too. You can stay airborne for a very long time with a survivor. My guess, the strafing is tied to movement speed. So if you are really fast, you have host a lot of energy drinks, you can probably strafe around really fast and like avoid a lot of stuff. Like mushrooms won't be as much of a problem with this operator because you can just stay off of the ground and not have to worry about that type of stuff. Same with probably like larva or something like that. Like, it's gonna be a good counter to those enemies, so that's good to see. Outside of that, ejection core is very nice too. I do like that little CC. I think it'd be really awesome, and I mean, this is probably a balance thing. It'd be really awesome if there is some sort of item that helps increase the size of it. It looks kind of limited. I mean, it's probably fine. We don't know how any of this stuff is going to play in practice, so we just have to kind of wait until we get our hands on it. For a CC thing, I mean, unless if they're all in the line or something coming out, it's gonna be great in like a teleporter event, but outside of that, I guess it'll be a bit more circumstantial. I'm not sure though. Admin Override, which is, I believe, the secondary, right? Let me read that. Copy drones target. Yep, it's the secondary. So I did notice that like these little targets were showing up on the enemies, and I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm too crazy about this operator being having a lock-on primary, like similar to your Huntresses and Railgunners, where the primary is locked on. Those do have their benefits. Like, I think it works a lot better with Huntress because you don't have to worry. It's all about being fast and agile, like being very fast and agile, quick on your feet with Huntress. So not having to look at every target you're shooting at and having that lock on is helpful. But I would look at this more akin to like a Railgunner if it did lock on, and that's kind of annoying because it doesn't always prioritize the enemy that you want to be attacking, and it's just cumbersome sometimes to use the primary. So I'm happy that it is where you're looking and the little crosshair is where you want your drone to direct their attention to. But yeah, and it looks like all the drones too, they cycle through all the drones you own, I believe. Let's make sure that I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, it does have an ability that is different for every drone in the game. So every drone has a unique ability. That's really cool. This works in conjunction with his passive drone queue, which cycles through available drones, including those purchased during your run, one by one after using any of operator's drone abilities. So okay, so yeah, so it is basically you start with the 2 that you select in your kit, and then anything else that you buy gets added to the queue, so you can just cycle through. Some drones have entirely unique attacks. Bombardment drone, yeah, so they have unique attacks tied to the ability. The TC-280 might be worth it now. It doesn't just rob all your credits for the stage, so it can actually. I also wonder, because of this, I wonder if the TC-280 will also spawn on other stages, so it's more available for this character. Each new drone that you collect gives you an extra charge of this ability, so you've got Tough Teleporter event coming. You can save those charges up on your command. Unleash hell with your army of drones. I wonder what the cooldown is like. I didn't really see any cooldown timers on it. Is it like a one and done? That'd be kind of weird for a secondary, so I couldn't imagine it is. It probably is on a timer. If you have just a full army of drones, just keep spamming this and it'll take care of whatever's in front of you. So that's cool. It really does incentivize making sure you buy drones. So what do you guys think about our new survivor operator? That just feels weird to say. I do like the design and the kit of this. I'm not crazy about the name, just because I tend to use operators and survivors interchangeably whenever I'm talking about stuff. So now I have to be careful. Anytime I'm talking about this game, I can't say operator anymore without referring to operator, the survivor operator. That's honestly, of everything in this dev diary, that's the worst part of the entire thing, is the fact that I have to now think consciously about what I'm saying when I'm referring to this survivor operator. But anyway, small tangent. What do you guys think? I'm very excited about this. Again, these are my favorite types of characters to play. The characters that synergize hard with a certain interactable in the game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, I welcome you to leave a like on the video. Also subscribe. We will be covering any other Alloy Collective or Risk of Rain news that does drop leading up to the release of this expansion and beyond. We also stream twice a week, mostly Risk of Rain. Sometimes we'll mix in some other stuff. We'll also be streaming some Borderlands when that comes out next week. So if you're looking for some Borderlands 4 content, be sure to not miss that. We also post Risk of Rain runs at least once a week. Yeah, if that's your jam, I welcome you to subscribe. But until next, guys, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you on the next one.